Gee, some day that eventful to say the least. The third day's play, effectively the second after a washout on day two between South Africa and India at Centurion. 18 wickets falling, 10 South African, 8 Indian, 7 in the first innings. India managing to go from 272 for 3 to 327 all out. South Africa with just a 197 in response. And India's lead at Stumps with 9 wickets in hand is a healthy 146. Let's see what the Dasgupta and Daryll Cullinan make of it all on ESPN Cricket for Match Day. Daryll, how would you sum up a day like that with 18 wickets falling?
It was very eventful, but it's not surprising at this sort of venue. We have seen it in the past, but at the end of the day, India, before the test match, if you said you'd end up with a 140-odd lead, let's be honest, you'd take it, irrespective of what happened in the day. But I thought they could have pushed on today. South Africa bowled far differently, a far more aggressive attitude that paid dividends. And then India under Shami were just absolutely superb. Him leading the attack there with that control of his line and length, it was real masterclass.
Yeah, let's not go into that because like the theme has been in Test cricket Deep for India many times. We're not talking about India's batting collapse because India's bowlers have once again kept them in the game. So let's start with Mohammad Shami, 5 wickets, perhaps the best spell he's bowled in Test cricket in a long time. Would you say that?
In a while, because he hasn't played a lot of Test cricket in the last year or so. I mean, apart from a few Test matches here and there. But yeah, he's been absolutely brilliant last 3-4 years. I think post 2017, he's again as Daryll mentioned about his line length, his seam position that we keep talking about. I think the other important thing that obviously he's worked very, very hard is to bowl those long spells as well. The fact that he's picked up 6-7 in the last 2-3 years, he's picked 4-5 fifers. That also tells you that it wasn't his potential or his skill set. It was his fitness that was letting him down. And I think last 3-4 years he's been absolutely brilliant. And also he's got smarter as well. Apart from that seam position, he uses the crease really well. Again, today was a great example of him using the crease.
Is it also a nice, pleasant surprise that he's hit the series or hit the road running deep? Normally, Shami comes into his own, deeper into a Test match, deeper into a series. India needed him today in the absence of Bumrah.
True, and the fact that we generally call him second inning Shami, isn't it? First innings is generally not him. He's kind of like jogging in and stuff. But yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, obviously India lost a few overs there with Shami finishing his spell and Bumrah getting injured, and then India had to kind of fall back on plan B. Maybe lost a few important overs and the momentum to a certain extent that period after taking 4 wickets at that point in time. But yeah, I mean, you needed a big spell from Shami, and yeah, I mean, he's an enigma, isn't it? You really don't know what you're going to get from him.
When he's on song, though, Daryll, he seems to bowl so many of these jaffers or unplayable deliveries. What as a batter do you think is the biggest challenge when Mohammad Shami is on song?
Well, Deep mentioned his seam position. If you just watch it out the hand, it's perfectly up there. Just watching him bowl today, I thought that he reminded me of the likes of Pollock and 1 or 2 other bowlers like Anderson. They don't seem to waste a ball. If you're on strike there, it's just constantly those subtle variations, that good seam position. It's not as if, you anticipate here's another line and length. It's just that control, which may vary sort of a foot wider in the crease. It may be a foot fuller, a foot shorter. Now, that sounds pretty easy, but it's not. But that's what, to me, makes him so good. And he finds that, which is a big key probably on any wicket, important factor. But yeah, in South Africa, he finds that in-between length. That in-between length where you never know you should be forward or back. So he's constantly asking you questions. You can just see there's a thought process behind everything that he's doing.
As good as he was, Daryll, how would you sum up that South African batting effort, which at one stage was 32 for 4, could have been 32 for 5 if de Kock wasn't dropped first ball, but for that partnership and some lower order runs, we could have been looking at a particularly poor scoreline. How would you sum up South Africa's batting today?
I thought it was poor. Let's be honest about it. As much as we've spoken on, and they would have too. There's no doubt about it. They're a smart camp, like most international sides would be. They were poor outside off stump. How many dismissals, soft dismissals that we saw? Peterson trying to drive on the up. Markram's of this age now where they believe you bat on off stump outside of your crease. So you, Van der Dussen as well. They lose insight of when you're standing there, I believe, you lose insight of your off stump. Markram squares up. So you get a straightish ball, and everyone goes, what a great ball. But you're really coming from gully playing across the line. Yeah. And as an opening batsman. See, my concern about South African cricket and our batting, and it's taught in our system, and I'm seeing it around the world, and this is my opinion. Red ball cricket is a sideways game. White ball cricket, we can argue something else. And that's when I'm seeing some funny trigger movements. I'm seeing some funny body positions. And for South Africa at home, they would have known, even if you're struggling there, compared to India's first day with the bat, where they were extremely disciplined outside off, that made the difference. I just thought today, take the cock shot. Yes, the wicket, and you get things playing on your mind as well. But that's where your mental strength and your ability to concentrate comes in. So again, they'll be very disappointed because they certainly now, their best hope, I believe, is it's going to rain from the last day. Because you don't want to find yourself batting last year. Pollock and Gavaskar said this morning, this probably is the best day for batting. They didn't say that on the first day. Pollock was ready to bowl. Now we're getting into 4 and 5 if we do get there, and they're going to have to bat last. So can they turn it around? Can they fix it? What was right? What was wrong? First of all, Bavuma was the best. He was the most disciplined for the longest period outside of stump. Whereas the rest, I'm sorry, it was too loose.
All right. Now the scoreline might suggest India well in front, Deep, but 7 for 55, the collapse this morning. Are you still concerned about India's this ability to collapse?
Yeah, I mean, this has been happening way too often, isn't it, in the last few years? Every now and then there is a collapse. So yes, there is still a chance of another collapse. So that's the reason I think, as Daryl mentioned, yes, the forecast says day 5 would be rained off. Keep that out of your head at this point in time. First, just make sure that South Africa, you back South Africa win option out of the game. As of now, it's draw seems to be a very big option here. India winning is a big option. South Africa winning still is an option. But what you want, if you're in that Indian camp, is make sure you bat out the whole of first session. You kind of, make sure that South Africa win is not an option post lunch on day 4.
Okay, so then let's do some forecasting of our own. Assuming we have day and a half more to play, let's hope we get 2. But Deep, you don't see India declaring at any point prematurely on day 4. You see them getting at least 300 if they.
Yeah, I listen. You can't be thinking about the forecast on day 5. What if it doesn't rain? I mean, it says it's going to rain. What if it doesn't? So you don't want to be in that situation. So you bat normally. You think of batting till tea, an hour after tea, and then giving South Africa a bat for 100 odd overs. Maybe just do what you would do normally without thinking about what the forecast says on day 5.
They seem to bowl a lot better just towards the end of day 3, Daryl, in the second innings. Did South Africa? How would you like to see them bowl in the second innings now?
Well, 146 behind. If India are still batting at tea, that's going to be well over 300. So they've got a bit of thinking to do here. Do they actually bowl with a mixture of aggression and caution? I suspect that if India push on beyond 200, 230, 240, and they've got, say, 5 or 6 wickets in the bag, South Africa will have to bowl Maharaj in a defensive role, try and drag it out for as long as possible. I think there's 150 runs in this game. Few sides have chased beyond 250 and won at this ground, not on this type of wicket. So it's pretty much India at this stage. Come day 5, yes, we should get some cricket. It may just be enough for India to bowl South Africa out because there's some variable bounce. It's already happening when you hit that deck. Day 5, we've also seen it stay down.
All right, brilliant. Thank you very much, Daryll Cullinan, Deep Dasgupta. More from you at Stumps on day 4. Let's hope we have an uninterrupted day on day 4 at least and see where this test match stands. It's moved very quickly, which at least gives us the possibility, or at least lets us entertain the thought of a result in spite of losing all the cricket on day 2. We'll see where this game is on day 4. Join us then on ESPN Cricket for Match Day.